Hey guys, Lauren with RW Business Solutions here bringing you the Mindful Business Life podcast alongside my co-host, Lindsay. Lindsay is a conduit on both Spotify and YouTube. And eventually my videos will be on YouTube, but right now you can catch my podcast on Spotify. I do business topics on Monday, and then on Wednesday, we do more spiritual talk, going right now with Journey to the Heart. If you didn't check out our first podcast on this book, it's a daily devotional, and we just read from it and give you personal perspective that resonates with us. And we hope to just, inspire and motivate you and give you something to look forward to every week. So I'm Lauren, the owner of RW Business Solutions. We are a digital marketing firm, business coaching, speaking, and we do all kinds of things under that umbrella. You can follow me on Instagram at Calloway for President or RW Business Solutions and touch base, say hey. Lindsay?
Awesome. Hello, everybody, and good morning to you all. I'm Lindsay Warwick of Lindsay Warwick Yoga and Healing. You can connect with me on Instagram or Facebook. I am a 520-hour certified yoga instructor since 2012. I am a Reiki master, also certified in integrated energy therapy as well. So all things spiritual, that's totally my vibe. And I'm here to just deliver the messages, I guess. You can also find me on Spotify as The Conduit and on YouTube as well.
Yeah, so
Happy
awesome
to be here.
Yeah, I definitely am enjoying doing the podcast. They just kind of, at the end of the day, they really do light me up and make me feel happy, I have to say. So thank you for joining me on this new journey. And man, I'm looking forward to next week already.
I know. Thank you for asking me to be a part of this journey. This is definitely outside of my comfort zone. And so it's exciting and new and just kind of navigating the territory, and happy to be here with you discussing the journey to the heart.
Yeah. So again, this is just a daily devotional. You can totally pick it up if you'd like to. But ultimately, we're going to touch back every week and just give you something to meditate on, something to keep in your consciousness, something to keep you motivated. So we do read the excerpt just to keep you up to date if you do not have the book. And so January 12th, let the universe help you. Let the universe help you. You're not in this world alone. You never have been. Although your belief may have created that illusion, tell the universe what you want. Tell a friend. Tell God too. Tell yourself. Write it down on a list. Be clear and forthright about what you need and want. Talk as if you were talking to a friend. This is not control. This is learning to own your creative power, your power to help create your life. Then let go. Do not stand tapping your foot impatiently, waiting. Simply let go. The way you would if you were trusted a friend to respond positively in a way that works best for you. Go naturally about the course of life. Listen to your heart. Listen to your inner voice. What you are guided to do, where you are guided to go, where your attention is directed, the people you meet, the calls you receive, the experiences you have, even the problems that arise. These are some of the ways the universe can respond to you. Open your eyes, look around, see how the universe responds. Watch how it dances for you, with you. You are connected to the magical, loving universe, one that will come alive for you, dance for you in ways you cannot imagine, but in ways you will come to know as true. Look within too. Sometimes the most gentle, quiet, flickering thought, that glimmering of an idea, that awareness of a need or desire, or that small bit of inspiration or intuition is how the universe prepares us for what it is we are about to receive. Our inner voice, the one heart, the one in our heart, is the most important way we're guided and led down our path. You stand at the gateway now. It's the door to universal love. Let the universe help you. So I love that. It's like so much passion in there. It's like, oh, dance with me, move me, flicker and gleam all over the place, and just exciting.
Yeah.
I wake up every morning and I try to always go, God, light the way, allow me to show up in the spaces and interact with the people and places that I need to be. And so I really love the concept of, let the universe help you. Because as it says in here, people, music, something that comes across is always that message for you. And if you're really taking time to slow down and listen and pay attention and be aware, your answers are always there. I always say I can almost see my future half the time, because whatever's going on for me right now is like almost like a prediction or a show of what I can expect for my future. And so sometimes I have those visions ahead of time, and then I'm like, oh, I knew about that for like 3 weeks ago. And here it is.
Yeah, absolutely. I love this, and I have always noticed the signs of the universe helping me, even today. Well, I know this podcast is being launched tomorrow, but I'm going to talk about my experience today a little bit. Is every time I looked at the phone or I would send a friend a message, it was during repeating numbers. So like 222. And a couple of my friends, I sent some spiritual meme to them. And they were like, hey, did you mean to send this at 222? I was like, nope, I did not even notice it was 222. Same thing happened today at 4:44. And, I looked at the clock at 1:11. And so to me, those are signs that spirit uses to communicate that I'm in an alignment state, that I'm in alignment with my path and what I'm supposed to be doing. But this idea of not being alone in the world, I love that. It's super positive, especially if you're going through a really difficult time. Even those difficult times are there for us to excel into a new vibration, move into a new frequency of who you are. Also, this idea of telling the universe what you want, tell a friend, tell God, tell yourself, write it down.
Yeah.
I used to, a while ago, a long time ago, used to live in sort of that victim type of mentality, like when things would happen, like, why is this happening to me? And over the years on my spiritual journey, working with different healers and, reading about the law of attraction, it's we are the creator of our own reality. And so even you saying like, okay, right now what I'm doing will predict my future. And that's absolutely right. The actions and the thoughts that we think today, our behaviors are forming the frequency patterns for the future. So I love that. And talk to yourself as if you're talking to a friend speaks just
so important.
Self-love to me.
Yeah.
And if you start to really pay attention to that voice and how you talk to yourself and just making little shifts, positive shifts, it's just totally life-changing to do that.
It is. And I think we forget the power of doing like that multi-step, right? Thinking the things that you want to see manifest, saying the things you want to see manifest, writing it down. And it's like the action, the thought, the speaking, the action, like it helps everything you want come to fruition. And so it's just that concept of, like you said, like telling someone, getting it out, telling yourself, having the thought process, writing it down. I know when we were doing the full moon events, so many of the people that would come would be like, I manifested so many things on this list. I can't believe it. And I'm like, I can. I can. What do you mean? Because
Yes.
we're used to that, but not everybody's used to seeing that. But we were also coming together as a collective, drawing in all this energy, moving the body, but it's the same act, right? And so ultimately it's like, man, if you do the steps, if it's really aligned with your soul, even if it's not necessarily aligned with your soul, it's going to manifest. So it's either going to, like you said, teach you that lesson to make you grow, or it's ultimately going to be something that's in your alignment and keep growing with you in a positive, right? And so I realized I kind of slacked on the writing some things down. And so I want to make sure I touch back with that. We have the full moon coming up Sunday. So that's the perfect time to write down the things you want to release, the things you want to receive, get your little moon juice water out and just like enjoy that vibe. So I'm glad for this reminder to write things down. So
Yeah. And this idea of, I love it's like, do this and take the action, but also it's clear, then let go, period. Let go.
yeah.
And I love that. Don't stand tapping your foot, impatiently waiting. It's like years ago, I was involved in a spiritual program, and I remember, people in that program would tell me about talking about prayer, learning about prayer. So what is prayer? Prayer is, I used to think, oh, well, let me get this, blah, 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 blah. And then when God didn't deliver, I was like, where's my whatever I asked for?
Yeah.
But I love this idea of not having an expectation, but just allowing for things to flow, which kind of touches back on last week about just allowing. And so now I've changed my idea of prayer. It's, I'm always praying for the highest good. And then with meditation, like receiving what that might be. So allowing in meditation to let the universe help me with, giving me those messages of how I need to continue on. And I just was talking about this with a friend the other day about how like God is everything or God is nothing. And so that's another way that you can have perspective on letting the universe help you. Like you can see God in all things, or you can see God in nothing. It's
Yeah.
interesting for sure, but just allowing.
Yeah. And it's hard because the thing is, like, when it comes to manifesting, you do want to hold that concentration state from time to time. So you do want to let go, but you also want to come back and review the things that you want to manifest. And so it's really important it is important to let go, but it's also important to touch back and make sure that you still feel like the things you're trying to manifest are still what's important to you. I know I've asked for things and I've let it go, and then it manifests and I was like, I should have thought about that. I should have thought about that beforehand.
Oh yeah, it's like be careful what you ask for.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I'm currently
Yeah.
yeah.
So let go, but like also touch back and make sure you're still that same person you were 5 minutes ago. Cause let me tell you, there have been plenty of times where I'm not the same Lauren that was there 5 minutes ago. And then I get what I asked for and I'm like, just kidding. I take it back. I take it back.
Yeah. Absolutely. I know. It's like I'm reading the Vortex right now. It's one of the Esther Hicks, the Abraham, all of that. And it talks about that, like what you think about, even if it's not really desirable, is what your internal vibration is going to be. And so if I'm like focusing on, a past job or a past relationship and how I don't want that, the universe can't tell the difference between what I don't want and what I want. It's just going to pick up on that
Yep.
wavelength. And so, yeah, like exactly.
Touch
You
back
know,
on those goals.
yeah,
Touch
touch
back
back,
on those
focus,
heart
like
desires.
everything is like intentional. You know what I'm saying? Everything is intention. So having those intentions of what you really want and shifting that vibration into what you want. I also love this part of the reading, listening to your heart, listen to your inner voice, what you're guided to do, where you're guided to go. Always just listening to that little voice,
Yeah.
and even if it doesn't make sense in the mind, going with the heart. That's what this whole, devotional is about, is following that heart. So I love that, even when things, don't necessarily make sense. So I actually had an experience yesterday. I was led to a local woman who does holotropic breathing, and it was amazing. And so my soul, I saw, that she offered this in a group setting, but I couldn't make the class times. So my soul was like, message her. And I was like, okay. So I finally did, right? I listened, I let the universe help me, and I set up a private session with her. And would you know that yesterday during the day, I felt that I couldn't breathe, which is really weird because I'm super healthy. I like have a pulse oximeter left from when I had COVID months ago. And so I took my oxygen and it was at 100, which I've never seen it like perfect at 100. I was like, wow, I'm good. But I had all of this fear like leading up to the session, and I went in and it was literally the most life-changing experience. And so I followed my heart, even though my mind was trying to tell me like, you can't breathe today and that's not going to be good and blah, 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 blah. But I still went with like what my inner being was telling me to. And I went through some major frequency shifts just doing that breath work. So listening to the voice, even though sometimes, you know what I mean? It's like
And it's
not
and it's the
in
nudge.
alignment
It's like
there.
the nudge, right? It's like you hear it and you're kind of like, nah, yeah, whatever. And then you're like, and then it kind of comes back and it kind of sits with you. It's kind of like almost makes you a little uncomfortable, because you're like, you're neglecting the call. And so you're gonna be kind of like annoyed and you're gonna kind of want to shove it away, but it's like annoying you or making you uncomfortable because you're so really supposed to listen to it. And I was going through that. Like, I recently took a break from the guy that I was seeing. And, but I had had that call for weeks to like be like, I need a break from this. And so finally, like 2 days ago, I was like, okay, I need to fucking listen. I need to fucking listen and take a break. And so I
Oh,
took a break. So,
okay.
and so I tried to take a big break like 3 weeks ago, and he pretty much was like, nah, we're good. We're going to keep seeing each other. And then it was like, okay, sure. And then like, the few weeks have gone by, and I'm like, that nudge was there. Like, you need to take a break. You need to take a break for yourself. Maybe not for him, but for yourself. And so, but it kept coming up, and I kept trying to neglect it, kept trying to neglect it. And then finally he did something. I was like, I'm taking a break. I'm done. I'm done right now.
Well,
I was like, we're taking a break. You go take some time for yourself. And so
yes.
it comes like that. So if you don't listen to it, it's so life is about the spiral, right? And hitting a platform and like learning a lesson on that platform. And if you don't learn it, you keep going through it. And what happens is you ultimately still get tested, even though you move on from it, but it comes and tests you in a different way for a while. And it's like, if we don't listen and learn, it only slaps us in the face harder. It only hits us in the gut harder. And so it's for all of us. We all need to be quiet and listen. And when we get those nudges, like go, okay, I'm going to show up and listen. And I'm telling you, it will change your life because your intuition, you know so much more. There is so much information you are downloading, receiving, whether it's through your eyes, your nose, your mouth, your skin. You are constantly receiving in receiving mode. And so, like, you have got to simmer down and listen to that voice. It's just going to lead you to all the spaces and places you're meant to be. And I definitely have learned that hardcore these last few weeks. I was like, oh, I should have
Ooh,
listened.
you know what? Don't shit on yourself, girl. It's
Shoulda,
okay.
coulda, woulda, and I did it now. So that's what matters.
And this, when the soul is ready to learn the lesson, is when we finally say, okay. And then we don't beat ourselves up. But
Yeah.
as you're talking, I get all these visuals, and like, it's like God is going to maybe like gently whisper in your ear,
Yeah.
right? It'll start very gentle.
Yeah.
And then it'll be like, she's not listening. Or the guides will be like, she's not listening. Then they'll throw a pebble
Yeah.
and you get hit and you're like, ow, that kind of hurt.
Yeah.
but I'm going to keep going. I'm
Yeah.
good. I got this,
That
God.
wasn't
I
anything.
don't need you, source. I got it. And then they chuck like, you know, a book at you, a little bigger than a pebble. And you're like, ow, but I still
Maybe.
got this. I'm not ready to let this go.
Yeah.
Then they throw a brick and a boulder, and then you're just like, all right, okay.
Yeah.
But it's really like when your soul is ready to move on. And I have experienced this 1000,000,000,000% that I am clairaudient sometimes, and I actually hear messages from my guides, and I'm still like, oh, but I got this,
Yeah.
because instead of listening to the heart, I'm listening to like my ego, my
Yeah.
brain. So I'm with you on that. And that's just sometimes we are spiritual beings having human experiences, and that's just how we learn and grow. And so the important thing is to go through this with grace and talking to yourself like you're talking to a friend.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
You have to
when
be your own
you,
best friend. You have to be.
yeah.
At the end of the day, you're all you have. And
Mm-hmm.
so if you're going to be negative Nancy to yourself, you can't expect anybody else to give a fuck. You can't expect anybody else to care. Like, so if you have to show up for yourself 100%, be your best friend, be a teacher, be the student. I mean, we're all constantly both the teacher and the student, forever and always, both of them. And what I really love, because I just got done twerk yoga, Shakti yoga, and it just kept talking about dancing. I was dance. And I'm like, I'm all about the dance. I love to dance. And so I just want to put that gentle reminder out in the women in business group that Leah and I co-run. We were talking about ways to raise your vibration and ways to elevate. And I really just love the fact that I'm like, go dancing, move the body. And then this is like, go dancing, let it be the dancer in your life. And I think it's just that gentle reminder to have fun, go
Yes.
after you decide what you want or decide what you think you want, go enjoy life, go dancing, go have coffee with friends, go on and thrive. And then those things are going to manifest. And I'm all about the dancey dance. I love to dance. I love to move. I love having a good time. And I think that's what helps me not stay so deep in the mental state around manifestation, is because I go out afterwards and I really do things to light my soul up. And then I find myself in alignment with what I've asked for, or not in alignment with what I asked for. So I just love the dance. Like I said, I just got done dancing, twerking it all over. And I just love that this is like dance.
Yes.
I can
I love that too so much. And I also love this idea of the idea of dancing, getting into the body. And it's like, I just keep coming back to this theme, I guess, throughout this reading. It's like feeling into the heart and feeling into the body. And even the breathwork session yesterday, it was like my body, like I was able to release old stories and old behaviors through breathing, like through my body, and I talk about that in my yoga classes. Like I'm always like, listen to the wisdom of your body, but really listen to the wisdom of your body. Like when you're around bad energy, feel what is happening in your body. And so then moving your body, dancing, that's going to open up, your sacral chakra and let all those emotions flow. Like we hold a lot of emotional energy in our hips. So that I love that idea of dancing and just letting it all go, and just letting the body do the healing for you too.
Yeah. Well, and we know as yoga instructors, and a lot of our students know that, stress is held in the body, and pain and suffering is held in the body. And so arthritis is a lot of times stress that you've held on to. Your shoulders being achy is holding on the stress of others. They say that the hips hold the personal stress. And so, really connecting with the body to realize I'm still holding on. I haven't really let go. I haven't fully forgiven. So that way you can start to receive and you can let the universe help you or God help you and guide you. And so you've got to let go even within the body. So I love the concept of dancing, moving, going to the gym, going for a hike, just anything, because mind, body, and spirit alignment is real. And if one is out of whack, the other two could stabilize you enough, but you're going to still feel it where you're like, I'm still not 100%. And you're never always 100% in alignment. You have moments, you have times, there are days or weeks where you can go in it, but naturally it's an ebb and flow and it's up and down, and that's okay. But you can do things to keep you in better alignment or in alignment more often. And that is satisfying the mind, body, and spirit. And so yeah, I love the whole dancey dance. I'm such a dancey
Yeah.
dancer. So I want to okay, so we record this actually the night before and we post it on the next day. So we work on it Tuesday nights and then we post it on Wednesdays. What's really beautiful is this ending. You stand at a gateway now. It's the door to universal love. So today, when we're recording it, it's actually 111.
Love it.
So this is a portal day. I don't know about you, but the energy today, I woke up in a good mood today. I got myself together. I actually I eat good, but like I actually made sure I had lunch with me today. I felt like I was on it. And so I just want to say, like, even though the 12th is when you'll hear this, we just are walking away from a portal day, moving into a full moon. And so there's just so much energy circling us right now. With the new year, everybody being goal oriented, with the portal energy of 111, with the full moon coming up. So really use this, like it says in here, where is it at? You are connected to a magical, loving universe. Use that magical, loving energy that is around us right now to really launch you into the spaces and places that you want to be. So I was like, portal, yeah, doorway, absolutely. I'm walking through it right now.
Yeah, I love that as well. I see so much symbolism in, repeating numbers, and 111, the energy of that today is super powerful. Excuse me. There's a lot of energy. I always have to clear my throat when I'm doing energy work, or there's just a lot of energy coming through. So that's what that is.
Yeah.
Good times. Yeah, I just love this. I love this whole reading, and I hope that it helps, the listeners, the viewers, with whatever is going on. Know that the universe is responding to you. And, I am coming to the conclusion at this point in my life. I am now 34. I turned 34 on Saturday. Yay! Out of my 33rd year, the pinnacle year, hell of a year for me.
Oh goodness, I'm going into 33.
Well, yours might be different. It really depends on your destiny card, which is a type of style reading that I do. But for me, my 33rd year was my pinnacle year, which means that, certain behaviors and things and ways of being came to a point. And for me, I realized that that shit was not working for me anymore. And so now I am rebirthing a new version of myself. I have a lot of Scorpio in my chart, so I'm always dying and being reborn. But I have come to the conclusion that even the choices that I made that were not the greatest of choices have led me to where I am today. And so if you're struggling with the decision, know that your soul is your map and you are following the map of your own soul. And so following the steps, following the heart, and then letting the universe respond to you. And really, no choice is a bad choice, because it's just going to learn. You're either going to get a lesson or a blessing, or I think they're both, even though the hard shit is a blessing. So you stand at a gateway now. It's the door to universal love. And that is the biggest message I got during my breath work yesterday. It was so magical. I could spend hours talking about it. It's compared to an acid trip, which I've never done acid, friends.
What?
Surprise, I'm an alien, but I haven't done acid. However, I did experience a psychedelic state of mind yesterday during the day, during this breath work, and I met myself, myself of unconditional love, and all I got was, I'm only here to love. I'm only here to love. And the people that have hurt me the most, in that higher state of consciousness, I love them the most because I learn the most. So no choice is a bad choice, as
Yeah,
long as you don't die.
ultimately everything is moving you towards your highest good. Everything.
Yes. It's amazing.
It's a crazy concept, but ultimately when you look at it, I first went to school for engineering, and I'm not an engineer. And it's like, I don't ever think about that because I'm actually very happy where I'm at, right? I'm very present.
Mm-hmm.
That I wouldn't be a yoga instructor, I wouldn't be a business
Right.
coach, and I really love these things. And even though I never saw them as my future, it's been the most fulfilling thing in my life over the last few years to be here and not where I thought it would be. And so even when those, like you said, those things don't work out, or they self-destruct, and you feel like you're lost and you have nowhere to go, you are still being guided. You are still actually being led. And if you give it time, it will totally show up for you. 7 years ago, I was homeless for a month. I lived in a tent. Next thing you know, I didn't have a car, didn't have a job. And then boom, 7 years later, I own my own company for the last 4 years. I have a car, I have a home. I moved to a different state for work. So those dense, hard moments are your biggest bloom points. You are the lotus flower in those moments. You are working through the mud, and you are going to bloom into something you never even expected. So
Oh, I love that. And I felt that so much from you. It's like in those moments of desperation or darkness is when we are being asked by our higher self, God, source, all the names, to get closer to that. And so, I feel like the bigger the roadblock for me, the bigger my faith and trust in God
yeah,
and the universe.
yeah.
And then if I can get out of my own way, like my own ego state, and just let go and allow, then all this magic is just everywhere.
Yeah. And it's just beautiful to watch myself be at nothing, have nothing, be no one, and to cultivate a new being from that, getting
Mm-hmm.
into
It's
yoga.
it's humbling.
Yeah, getting into yoga, building a business, it was just, and to see you think you just hit rock bottom, and they always say there's nowhere to go but up. And I have to say, that's the only way I've gone. Life has only
Yeah.
gone up from there. And so those rock bottoms, if you're really mindful about them, they can be the biggest blessing. And I couldn't be more
Yes.
grateful for the way things are, even though they were crazy during that time. I'm like, wow, look at everything I made it through when I didn't really have anybody. I didn't have anything. And I'm still here, and I'm only doing 10 times better than I ever was in my whole entire life. And so, and that's just by trusting and believing that God is going to lead you, and that everything is always for your highest good, for sure.
And staying open enough to notice when the universe is helping you and when the signs are there.
Yeah.
And yes, I have hit several rock bottoms in my life. At one point, I was, a couple of years ago, I was sleeping on my mom's couch. Like I didn't have a vehicle, and yes, I have definitely hit rock bottom several times. And it's just it's a beautiful life. And as human beings, we get to have those experiences. And yeah, I mean, now I just see God in everything. I really do. Just turned super spiritual tonight or today.
No,
I love it though.
yeah,
I love it.
I
It's
do. Yeah.
exactly as everything should be. And that's, I've been trying to operate in that state of mind. It's like everything just is divine as it is.
It is divine. And
And I can choose things. Like I can choose joy. I can choose to be happy and not take things personally. And it's just been so magical.
yeah, no, I agree. Everything's divine. Everything's in divine timing. And something I kind of wanted to leave off from is just, look within too. Sometimes the most gentle, quiet, flickering thought, that glimmering of an idea, that awareness of a need or a desire, or that small bit of inspiration or intuition is how the universe prepares us for what's to come, pretty much. And, if you feel like you can't quiet the mind through sitting, um, and going silent and listening to the breath. The definition of meditation is anything that brings the mind to stillness. And so anything that you really are passionate about or you love to do, I encourage you to jump into it and start building that awareness around calming the mind. And then eventually you'll find a way to take time and have that quiet meditative state naturally. But just keep that in mind. A lot of people think meditation just, sitting on your floor with incense and candles. The actual definition is anything that brings the mind to stillness. So you can go for a jog, you can play your video games, anything that will quiet the mind. So,
Cook.
yeah.
I
So,
zone out when I cook. I love
yeah,
cooking and baking, and I just don't think of anything else. You just get into that calm state. And even if you attempt meditation, you sit down and your mind's going, you know, that's fine. Like you have to start
let it go.
somewhere. Yeah, just let it go. And you have to start somewhere,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. So the art of meditation, is if the mind won't still, let the mind run. Like it has stuff on its mind. So like let it just go. Another thing I used to love doing, I at one point in time thought I was gonna be a police officer. And I used to run like 12 miles a day back then. But I would go sit at this pier for anywhere 3 to 5 hours a night and I would talk out loud and just get it out. And so that's another one. If you are constantly chattering in the mind, get it out, say it, get it out of your mouth, get it out of your mind verbally, and just have that place. Because ultimately, if the mind is constantly going, it's going to be hard for you to decipher what is the internal voice trying to lead you and what is the external ego driven mind that's trying to control you now. And so use that form, use meditation, anything that brings the mind to stillness. Talk about the things that are on your mind, write them down, just get it out so you can start learning to discern between that internal heart voice and that internal ego driven voice as well.
Yes, I used to ask the question all the time, well, what's the difference between my intuition and fear or an anxiety? Like which voice do I trust? And so over time and experience, it's been an intuitive knowing is, even if it's an unpleasant knowing, it's, it's a calming knowing, just a knowing in the body. Whereas, the ego and the mind and bullshit tends to feel more like fear and anxiety, and it just feels like not a calm knowing. So that's kind of how I've deciphered it. And then also just again tuning into the actual body, like where am I feeling it in the body?
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. So that gentle reminder, let the universe help you. Learn to be still, to receive, be open to receive, learn to quiet the mind so you can receive. And just know that all people, places, things are guiding you to where you want to be, to what you've asked for. And so if you just give it time, the things you want will come to fruition. And even if you say something you exactly want, but you get something a little different, it's just that's what's better for your alignment. Little Charlie.
Little Charles is saying, yes, let the universe help you.
I miss you
And
so much.
hug an animal if you can, it'll help. But yeah, I absolutely letting the universe help you. Even the things that we don't want lead us to the things that we do want.
Absolutely.
So this has been amazing again, Lauren. Thank you so much for, inviting me to be a part of this. And I'm just excited to go through this book this year with you and share every week with our people.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys tuning in. We are new to the whole podcasting and we're obviously going to grow and expand, but we have a little support here, thank goodness, to kind of get us by each week. And we're just here to help motivate you, to give you perspective, to support you, even if we know you or don't know you. So know that we're always here for you. Again, you can reach out to us on our social medias. But I'm Lauren with RW Business Solutions on Instagram or Calloway for President. And this is...
I'm Lindsay Warwick, the Conduit. I will also be starting my interview series. I am going to be interviewing people that I've met along my spiritual path. So that's kind of my goal for my podcast as well as my YouTube channel. So once I get that rolling, I will, just push those things out, I guess. But thank you so much for tuning in. And we hope that you got a lot out of this and have a beautiful day or night whenever you're listening.
Thanks, guys. We appreciate you. Bye.
Bye.